Good evening. Welcome to the third session of Katha, which is a unique initiative by India Foundation to bring together an eclectic group of people, and as you shall see from introductions shortly, who are interested in folklore, myths, and in sharing stories that they grew up with. It is almost like a fireplace chat without an actual fire, where after a hard day's work we can all come, relax, and share stories around a common theme. This is the third session of Katha, and unlike other initiatives of not just India Foundation but think tanks generally, I think what distinguishes this initiative is that it's very informal, with very few protocol rules. You don't have to worry about being an expert before you share stories that you resonate with, that you enjoy, and that you'd like the world to know. And so I think informality, friendliness, and a sense of fellowship is what defines Katha as an initiative, which is, I think, unique not just for India Foundation but for other think tanks, which are usually very official, very formal, very protocol oriented. We have two great storytellers today, and what we do is, and this is typically how we do Katha sessions for those of you who have not been there before, we request two of our fellow travelers to kickstart the discussion with stories that they've grown up with, and that sort of anchors the discussion, and then others can then chip in and sort of share their own stories or comment on some of the stories that the lead storytellers have started with. We have Nitin Kushalappa from Coorg, who has devoted his life to collecting forgotten folk tales and mainstreaming them, especially introducing them to children. His latest book, Dakshin, which is a collection of South Indian folk tales, actually, you must show it actually, was awarded the 2025 Sahitya Academy's Bal Sahitya Puraskar, which is an extraordinary achievement. A veteran author is guiding you on getting this right. Yeah.
I must confess, I'm more of an author than a speaker. I'm an awkward speaker.
No.
Okay, I'll probably try to change that.
No, absolutely. Don't. This is the perfect setting for someone, because as like I said, it's very informal. This is almost like a fireplace chat, so you can just be yourself. So Nitin is an extraordinary researcher, storyteller who's, like I said, devoted his life to collecting forgotten folklore and mainstreaming them, introducing them to children, especially. And his latest work, Dakshin, is something that I strongly urge all of you to check out. We also have my very dear friend Orson Passi from the Australian High Commission. He has a very unique heritage, which I'm sure he'll refer to when he shares his own stories. And he'll talk to us about Australian Dreamtime stories and other myths. A lot of myths from First Nations in Australia, and I'm looking forward to Orson's session also. Before we do that, since it's such an eclectic group of people, should we do a quick round of introductions? Just name where you're from, what you do, and what brought you to Katha. So maybe my name is Apurv. I work in the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. Earlier I used to work as a senior research fellow at India Foundation, and Katha is something that I'm very passionate about because under Swapn sir's guidance, we started this initiative because of my love for storytelling right from childhood.
I'm a telecom professional, and presently we are working on mitigating space debris, because with climate change as well as the modern communication requirements, 6G and maybe very soon 7G, we have to launch a lot of LEO satellites, low Earth orbit, and a lot of debris in space are affecting this. So I'm again a telecom professional.
Your name, sir? Good name, sir.
My name is Karyapa.
Hello, my name is Christina. I am from Lithuanian Embassy. And thanks to Apurv, I have the invitation of this first baby step to such an event, so it's very exciting. I'm all ears and eyes broad, looking forward. Yeah,
evening, everyone. Bulama. I work as a journalist with Time. I work with the team who head the Culture and Society section. Graduated from JNU. I have my daughter currently who's working with Katha as an illustrator, and definitely, you know, the brotherhood that we all share together in terms of Coorg is what brought me here.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Utkar Sandesh. I have completed my post-graduation in mass communication, and I am a content writer.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Usha Singh. Earlier, I was academic counselor at IGNU, and currently I am switching up jobs to STEM.
My name is Umar Afels. I am retired, but I still freelance teaching a few things in Chanakya University, Bangalore, and Indus University, Ahmedabad.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Upasana Dhankar. I'm a royal historian and educationist. I quit teaching in 2017. I was teaching at University of Delhi colleges earlier. 2018 I took a sabbatical which has been ongoing, but I am also working on my own startups now, and I'm a huge fan of Indian stories right from childhood. I also read a few East European and Russian folktales when I was a kid, so that's what gets me to Katha. My MPhil thesis, I also worked on Jatakas, which are like folktales appropriated into the Buddhist pantheon in a way. So that's another reason I'm here.
Hello everyone, my name is Aditi Joshi. I'm the founder of a small platform, Itihas Theer, and we review majorly Indian books with the authors. So one of our latest interviews was with Mr. Nitin only, so he had very graciously invited me for this event. And apart from that, I'm a research associate at the Center for Indic Studies in Indus University.
Hello, my name is Shopal Dasgupta. I am basically someone who's interested in politics, both as a researcher as well as a practitioner, and this is a sort of extracurricular activity of mine, and partly helping the other sources of finding out the cultural roots of our country and other civilizations. So welcome very much to the India Foundation, and we hope that this is going to be, I mean, we've had two sessions. This is the third one. This is the third one, and I think these are going to be quite interesting and different facet of what normally think tanks do.
Correct.
And I hope this is an important step in that. Thank you.
Playful approach to intellectual ideas.
Good evening, I'm Savira Chengappa. I'm a psychotherapist and counselor. I'm here because Nitin Kushalappa is here and I want to show my support. I have also authored a book called Soulful Sojourn, A Tale of Two Souls, based on the biography of my grandparents who were freedom fighters.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Renuka Devaya. I'm also a country cousin from Kodagu, and I was given this information by Mr. Kushalappa, so I'm looking forward to it.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Colonel Beliapa. I'm serving in the Indian Army. Presently posted with ME. I'm heading the boundary cell there. Hailing from Coorg, I thought I'll maybe possibly hear some stories of my grandmother through Nitin. So that is what brings me here. Yeah.
Namaste everyone. I am Anaswa. I am a housewife. So what interested me to join here was the focus on intangible cultural heritage. All the stories that we have passed on over generations and passed on from our grandparents, their grandparents. It's just part of our intangible cultural heritage, and that thing actually attracted me to this region. Thanks.
Hello everyone, I am Anup Kumar Das. I work with Center for Studies in Science Policy in JNU. Besides that, I also write in different magazines and also in Bengali magazine. So this is my interest area, particularly Indian knowledge system and also the folklore. So I attended the earlier session also. So this is my second session. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Diana Shri and I work here as a research fellow.
I am Muskan and I work as a research fellow at India Foundation.
Good evening everyone, my name is Chitra Shekhawat, I work here as a research fellow.
Hello, I am Dr. Pawan Chaurasia and I work as a research fellow here at India Foundation.
Hi, I'm Trishla. I work as a research fellow here.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yashika, and I work as a consultant at Dr. Ambedkar International Center. I'm a law graduate.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Shrishti. I'm with India Foundation. I come from Manipur, which is again rich with a lot of stories, and maybe one day I'll share it all about the interesting myths and folklores that we have in our state.
Hello everyone, I'm Shashwat. I'm also associated with India Foundation. Namaskar, my name is Siddharth. I work here as a senior associate.
Good evening, I'm Nanju Ganpati. I'm a lawyer in the Supreme Court. I'm here as a guest.
Hello everyone, I'm Ananya and I'm a research fellow at India Foundation.
Good evening everybody, I'm Anjana Ganpati. I'm also here as a guest and I belong to Coorg.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And as you can see, did we cover everyone? Yes. As you can see from the introduction, it's such a wide, eclectic group, and I think that's the ethos of Katha. Before we begin, I just want to formally thank and shout out to Swapan sir and Ananya as being the pillars of Katha. Ananya, who sort of manages on a day-to-day basis, make sure that the invitations, the creatives all go out on time. So Ananya, congratulations and thank you for the work that you do. And Swapan sir for his generosity, his kindness, his mentorship for such a crazy idea. You know, when you propose crazy ideas in formal environments, you need a champion. And Swapan sir has been a champion for converting this idea into an actual initiative of India Foundation. And so thank you for your blessings. With that, Nitin, all yours. Maybe take about 10-15 minutes and share some of the stories that you'd like to talk about, 15-20 minutes, and then we'll come to Orson.
Okay, sure. Okay. Good evening, everybody. So, I'm an accidental folklorist. This is my first book on folklore. I have another coming up, which will be out this year. Folklore, I should say, I've been familiar with Coorg folklore. I began work on this book in the year 2019, in fact. So then there was this, there's my book agent called Suhail Mathur of the Bookmakers. Back then it was like, there were quite a few regional folk tales running the market. There was Bihari folk tales, there was Rajasthani folk tales from Sikkim. At that point of time, I was having this discussion with my book agent. So he was saying, why not come up with a book on regional folk tales? He told me, you take a pick, you choose a region. At first I thought I'll write folk tales from Coorg because I know many from Coorg and that's what I'm familiar with the region. Then later, after some discussions, we came to know that okay, why not the state of Karnataka? Because at that moment, it was like each there was Kerala folk tales. There was folk tales coming out from each region, each state, in fact. Then finally, we decided, okay, let's go for South Indian folk tales. So South Indian folk tales that meant that I have to research a lot more. So I mean, more or less, I was familiar with folk tales, although I have this partiality towards Coorg because I am more familiar with the region. And then I took up the challenge. So this work, it came out in 2023. It took quite a while. I consulted different folklorists, researchers. There were people from Hyderabad. There were professors from Hyderabad. I consulted them. There were people from the Kannada University in Hampi. Then I met a lot of people, and so that's how the book grew. I think I'll start with the basics of folklore because one complaint I've heard frequently is that readers are not familiar with what's a fairy tale, what's a folk tale, what's a myth, what's a legend. So I'll explain all of that in a sentence each. So this is called Dakshin. It's South Indian myths and fables retold. So as the title says, there's fables. We have these Aesop's fables, then we have Panchatantra tales and all that. Basically, the main characters are animals. So these animals, they have these human-like behavior. They behave like humans, and they have these moral stories. They have some sort of a message to convey. It's basically for children. Then there's myths. Myths, they are associated with a particular society, community. They basically try to explain the origin of a people or a custom. So that's what myths are about. Then legends. Legends, they claim to be historical, but there's no documentation. So there is some make-believe. All that is involved. Then there are fairy tales. Fairy tales, you have these mythical characters. You have demons, fairies, and elves, dwarfs, and all that. So there's magic involved in all that. So I have chosen. I'll start off with a fable from Coorg. So this fable, it's about the miner who didn't give up. That's actually the first tale in my book. In Coorg, I mean, my mentors. I began off like I should acknowledge my mentors. There's Boirinda, Nanjamma, and Chinnappa. They were they have done a lot of research on Coorg. So I was fortunate to work with them. They have done a lot of documentation. They have been to every village, every family in Coorg, and they have much of their work. It's still unpublished. So sadly, they passed away. And so there's this one compilation. It came out in 1924. It's called the Patol Palame. It's supposed to be one of the earliest Indian compilations of Indian folklore. It's from Coorg. So this was translated by this couple, Boirinda, Nanjamma, and Chinnappa, in the early 2000s. Much of these stories, by the time I came to hear of them, they were no longer being told. Nobody was telling them. So this tale, it used to be told in the village of Nelji, around Nelji. Now it's all written, but nobody is really. What we are learning it from the text. So it's a lost. It's more of a lost story.
Lost story.
It's like the oral tradition has been broken somewhere. So this I'll start off with the story. There was this dove and a myna. Both of them were good friends. It's a female dove and a female myna. They have their nests in the attic. An attic is called atta in the Koda language, and they lay their eggs. The dove's eggs hatch first, and the chicks, they come out. So the dove takes them out of the attic window and they fly away. But the myna's eggs hatch later, and so by the time the chicks come out, this attic, it actually belongs to a carpenter. So the carpenter, what he does is he shuts the attic door and the window. Basically, he has he gets busy with his work, his cleaning work and all that. The myna is agitated. She goes to the carpenter and says, "Please open up your attic. My chicks are still there. I want the chicks to fly out." But then the carpenter said, "I'm not bothered. I don't care about your kids. So I'm busy. I have some work to do. Just go away." So the myna feels bad. The myna goes. She goes to a wild boar. She goes to the jungle. She finds a wild boar there, and then she asks the wild boar, "See, I need a favor from you. Can you go to the carpenter's vegetable garden and dig up his the whatever vegetables he's got in the garden, so that then he'll have to open up his attic to take out his tools and clean up the garden again." But then the wild boar is not interested. The wild boar is like, "No, I don't want to help you. I mean, it's a lazy wild boar, so he's sleeping on the forest floor all that while. Then next, the miner goes to a drummer. So then there's this village drummer. The village drummer, he beats the drum, and he's like a Tom Crier. He goes around the village, and he goes from village to village, and then he spreads messages, and then he's involved in all these village festivities and all. He beats the drum during the village festivals, the temple festivals and all that. So the miner goes to him and says, drummer, can you go to the wild boar and beat your drum? Can you disturb his sleep? So that he will go and dig up the carpenter's garden. Then the drummer says, no, I have other work to do, I cannot help you. Now the miner, what she does next is, she goes to a rat, and she tells the rat, can you go and bite the skin of the drummer's drum? Then the rat says again, no, I'm not bothered. Like that's your problem, that's your trouble. I don't want to I don't want you to waste my time. So the rat sends away the miner. Next, the miner goes to a snake and then says, snake, can you go and trouble the rat? So that this is called a cumulative tale. This is a common element in Indian folk tales. In fact, there are folk tales from other nations also which are like this. It's like you go from one step to another. So the snake. So then the snake says, no, I'm not bothered, you go away. Now the miner goes and meets these cowards. So these cowards, they are playing around, they are climbing jack trees, and they are plucking jackfruits and all that. So then the miner, she tells the cowards, can you go and beat the snake? But then the cowards say, we are playing our own games. We are busy with we are busy plucking jackfruits and all. You go away. Then next, then the miner goes to a bull and then says, can you go and attack the cowards? Now the bull says, no, I cannot do this. I have to go meet my wife, the cow. So you go do something else. I cannot be bothered. Next, after this, the miner goes to a wasp. Now, and then she tells the wasp, can you sting the bull? Then the wasp says, no, I have again the same thing. She gets the same reply. The wasp says, no, I cannot be bothered. It's your trouble. I cannot. You do whatever you want to. I'm not going to help you. Then finally she goes to an eagle, and then she says, eagle, can you break open the wasp's nest? Now these wasps, they make these small nests of mud and all that. Now the eagle was by a chicken coop, and the eagle was kind of hungry. So the eagle is like, the miner could say, okay, the eagle is not concerned. So the eagle has got his own problems, his own worries. He's hungry, he wants to grab a chicken and eat and all that. So then the miner realizes, okay, now these people won't help me unless they have something in return. If they get something in return, I mean, that's the way human behavior is. So the miner decides to change her approach. She says, okay, I'll do one thing. If you help me, I'll give you trinket belts. You can tie them to your legs, and then I'll give you a coat to wear over your wings. So then you look good, you look attractive and all that. So the eagle thinks, okay, this is a good thing. I mean, I get these bells and these fancy bells. I can wear this coat, and then I can go around and show off and all that. So then the eagle says, okay, done, I'll help you. So then the eagle goes, disturbs the wasp's nest. The wasp then realizes what it had to do. The wasp goes and stings the bull. The bull then realizes, okay, so I'm getting stung because of I didn't help the miner. So then the bull goes and attacks these cow herds. And then these cow herds, what they do, they realize, okay, we should go and beat up the snake. The cow herds, they go, they beat the snake. The snake the snake panics. The snake runs towards the rat and tries to grab the rat. The rat in turn runs towards the drummer's drum, jumps on the drum and bites it. So there's a hole in the drummer's drum. Now when the drummer looks at it, he is worried. Now he's got a spare drum, but as a drummer he doesn't like his drums broken. So then he realizes what he had to do in the first place. He takes his spare drum and he goes to the forest. He beats the drum loudly. So all these creatures, they run all around. Finally he sees the wild boar over there sleeping peacefully on the forest floor. And then so the drummer goes near the wild boar and beats the drum loudly. Now the wild boar gets agitated and he starts running towards the carpenter's garden and digs up all the tubers and the bulbs and whatever was there in the garden. In the evening, the carpenter comes and sees that his vegetable plot is all destroyed. So then he understands, I should have helped the miner in the first place. I have underestimated the miner. I thought she's weak, she can't do anything to me, she can't harm me. So this is what I get for this. I mean, I shouldn't have done this in the first place. He goes to the attic, he opens the attic window, and then the miner goes in. These chicks are grown by then. The miner leads the chicks out and they fly away. So that's the first story in the book, and that's
fascinating.
Yeah.
Is there another story you'd like to share?
Yeah, there is another story. We have the time?
Yeah, of course.
So this was a fable. So actually the topic for today is South Indian folklore. It's from Coorg and in popular media. So I mentioned popular media because in my book there are certain stories which have been made. There are at least 2 stories which have been made into movies. There's one story about Bala Nagama, and it's been made into 2 Telugu movies, one Kannada movie, one Tamil movie, and one Hindi movie. Now the late actress Sri Devi, she acted in one of the movies. This has been made into a comic book as well. So there's it's called by different names. This is from Guntur, Andhra Pradesh, and it's either the name of the mother Bala Nagama. The story is known by the name of the mother, or the name of the son, who's the hero, Balaraju. So that is one story. So it's a long story. I'll narrate it in brief. This is more of a, you can say it's a fairy tale. So once there was a king and a queen. They didn't have children. They are devotees of Shiva. They pray to Shiva. And finally one day Shiva pities them and appears before them in the form of a sannyasi, a monk. He comes to them, they bring him to the court, and then they tell him their troubles and all that. So then he says, okay, I'll bless you, but you'll have children, but what you need to do is you have to go into the forest. There's a particular tree over there. You have to collect 7 fruits from that tree. He tells the queen, you have to collect those 7 fruits, and then you have to eat them. After that you will have 7 daughters, and these 7 daughters will continue your line. So after you, they will take forward your family line. Now the king and the queen, they're happy, and so accordingly the queen, what she does, she goes to the forest. She finds this particular tree over there. It's got those fruits up there, and she's just under the right under the tree. She runs towards the tree climbs it up, and then plucks the fruits. But while doing that, what she doesn't realize is the ground beneath her feet, that's not level, it's uneven. There was actually one ancient ant hill over there, a big one, and it's actually there's a cobra residing there in that ant hill, the king of the cobras, Nagendra. And he is inside. He feels all this disturbance. Somebody is running overhead, running over my house, and so he's like, he comes out. He's all angry. He's all furious. He says, he comes to see what's all this noise. What's all this disturbance? He sees that this queen. She is running towards the tree, climbing up the tree, and plucking these fruits. So then he gets angry. He shouts at the queen, "What is this? You're running over my house. This is like this is not right. I'm going to bite you at this. I'm going to strike you at this moment and kill you." Now the queen gets troubled. The queen only then she realizes, okay, I've been running over the cobra's house. So then she requests the cobra, "I'm sorry, Mr. Cobra, can you please excuse me? I don't have children, and then there's this monk who told me that I need to collect the fruits of this tree, and once I do that and eat the fruits of this tree, I'll become a mother. I'll have 7 children. So you have to please spare me." But the cobra was all angry. The cobra is like, no, nothing doing. I cannot excuse you. I'll have to punish you some way. So then the queen tries to negotiate. The queen says, "Let me have my children first, and once the youngest child turns 1, you can come and kill me." The cobra agrees. "Okay, I'll do that. I'll come and kill you at the time, but then there's one condition. I'm the king of the cobras, Naga Indra. So you'll have to name your youngest child after me, Naga. So if it's a boy or a girl, if it's a boy, it would be Nagaraj. If it's a girl, it would be Nagama." The queen agrees. The queen goes to the palace, eats those fruits, and eventually she gives birth to 7 children. The youngest one is named Bala Nagama, young cobra mother. When on the first birthday of the youngest child, the cobra, Nagendra, the king of the cobras, remembers all this. He remembers that all this. He is not forgotten that he has to take revenge. He comes quietly into the palace. He bites the queen and escapes, goes away. Then the queen, who's bitten, she cries, and she's all frotting the mouth, all that. So she starts yelling, she starts screaming. The king comes running over there, and then she tells the king all the story. Like, "Okay, see, this is what had happened. So I'll have to die. You have to take care of the kids." So then she passes away. Then the king, he's like, he has to bring up the 7 daughters or 7 princesses. So what he does is, like, he's got his ministers around him, and he's having trouble running the kingdom and looking after his daughters. So then his ministers advise him, find a new queen. So then the new queen will take care of your daughters. So he gets married again. But what he doesn't know is that she's a witch actually. So she knows a lot of magic, and she is not what she looks like. After the marriage, the new queen, she looks after the daughters when the king is around. But once the king is not around, she mistreats the daughters. So also one day, what she does, she plans to get the daughters finished or ridden off and all that. So she casts a magic spell upon the king. Now the king, under the influence of the queen, what he does is he takes the daughters and then he leaves them, abandons them in the forest, and then he comes back to the palace. He is not aware of what he's done. Once he comes back to the palace, he is when he regains his senses again, he's worried. He's thinking of his daughters, what happened to them and all that. So then the queen, the new queen, she keeps casting spells, and eventually what she does is she makes the king forget the daughters. Even at the end of it, the king doesn't know that he's got 7 daughters. So the daughters, they are left in the forest. Now the spirit of the dead queen, she is trouble. She senses that okay, she comes back from the underworld, and she takes care of the 7 daughters. So then she leads them to a cave, and every day she feeds them. So then they are there for many years, and nobody knows of them. But then the queen has a brother. Now the brother has got 7 sons. The brother, what he does is he goes around and he still remembers, okay, my sister was there, my sister's daughters were there, and nobody knows where they are. The king, he's not bothered, he's forgotten his daughters, he's worried, he goes around searching for the 7 princesses. So many years pass by, his sons have grown up, and one day when his sons go out hunting in the forest, they meet these 7 princesses. Then they're curious, they realize, okay, there's our cousins are somewhere around, lost in the forest. Maybe these people. They go to these 7 princesses, ask them their names, and then realize, okay, these are our cousins. So then they bring the 7 princesses back home, and the king, their father gets them married. So I mean, back then in South India, like not just South India, among the royal families, like if you look at Queen Victoria's family or something like that, it was common for cousins to marry. I mean, relatives used to marry relatives so that the property remains with the family. The 7 princes, the 7 princes, they marry the 7 princesses, and the last prince, he's made the king because he is the most able among them. He's the cleverest among them. So he becomes the king, and he has married the youngest princess, that's Balanagama. So then they have a son called Balaraju. Now what happens in neighboring kingdom? There's a magician. He's called Maila Marathi. Now he is this Maila Marathi. He's got a helper. There's this woman called Sangu. Sangu loves Maila Marathi, but Maila Marathi is not aware of this. Maila Marathi, his ambition in life is to marry a queen and acquire a kingdom, something like that. So he wants to that's the ambition that he has. So what he does is but this helper Sangu, she's a very clever woman. She knows a lot of things. She's aware of everything around the world. Like she knows what's happening around, what's happening in which kingdom and all that. One day this Maila Marathi goes to Sangu and asks Sangu, just like that casually, who's the most beautiful woman in the world? So then Sangu, she just blurts out, okay, there's this queen in the neighboring kingdom called Balanagama. She's the most prettiest of all the women in the world.
This is like Snow White.
These fairy tales, if you see, there's a common pattern. There's something called ATU index, Arne Thompson Youth Index. So then, sorry, I'm deviating, but I think this is important. Now these 3 folklorists, it's after 3 folklorists. There's Arne. Arne is Finnish, and he's worked with German folktales. Then there's Thompson, who's American, and there's Jutta, who's again German. So these people have clubbed together similar folktales across the world, and they've given an index, like numbers. There's a system. All the similar folktales are given one particular number. So there are Cinderella folktales, there are Snow White folktales, and some of them are found in India as well. You'll find a very common pattern. Even this story also has some similar patterns found elsewhere.
You want to finish the story quickly?
Yeah, I'll summarize this quickly and I'll wrap it up. So basically what Maila Marathi does is he sketches a plan. He thinks, okay, I have to go and get this Balanagama, and I have to get her. Something like the Ravana and Rama story that we know from the Ramayana. He knows that Balanagama is married, but he wants to take a chance. what he does is he goes to the palace, and then he goes in the guise of a holy man, fakir and all that. So he goes in all this clothes, and he goes there. He says that I want to bless the royal family. The guards let him in. He goes up to the palace, and he says that, okay, I want to pronounce a blessing upon the members of this family. The seven the princes, they are out hunting. They're not at home, so their wives are here at home. They come out, and then Balanagama also comes out. Then what he does is he tells Balanagama to come closer. Now the other princesses, they go away with their whatever work they had to do in the palace. They go elsewhere. When Balanagama is there, he turns her quickly into a dog, and then nobody was watching at the time. He takes the dog and leads the dog out of the palace. So then these guards, they find something amiss. They think, okay, this person, he comes inside. There's not a dog with him, but then when he's going out, there's a dog with him. It looks like a stray. So they're not bothered. Okay, must be he found a dog there. He's adopted the dog and he's going out. He takes the dog out of the palace, turns her back into Balanagama, and leads her into his cave, which is in a different kingdom. Now, back in the palace, people begin to realize that the youngest princess, who is actually the queen, she's missing. She's not found anywhere. When they try to ask her, they ask the guards and all that. Then the guards tell them, you see, there was this holy man who came in. He didn't have a dog with him, but when he went out, there was a dog. So then they realize, okay, this holy man was up to something. He's turned the queen into a dog and let the dog out. So the husband comes home, the king, and he is like, he calls his brothers together. The 7 brothers, they go around asking about this holy man. Where did you see the holy man going around? They go to the cave. They finally realize, okay, the holy man has gone to this cave. He's this magician, and he's taken the queen with him. They go over there and they try to fight him, but he's a magician. What he does is he turns them into stone. Now, once they turn into stone, he goes to the kingdom. He takes it over. He becomes the king, and he tries to force this queen to marry him, but the queen refuses. She says, no, I cannot marry you and all. And the queen also, she's got certain powers, like she cannot be forced into marriage. So that's certain powers that she holds. So this person, the magician, he keeps trying, and then he says, oh, one day you will agree and you will marry me, so you will have to be here. Now this magician, he is I'll cut the story short. I'll come to the ending quite fast now. Now the magician, he wants to live long. He wants to be all powerful. He doesn't want anybody to destroy him. So what he does, he takes his heart out. He goes to a distant jungle across 7 seas and 7 lands, and he keeps his heart inside a parrot in a cage. And this cage is guarded by demons, Rakshasas. Then he comes back, and he's like, nobody knows about this. So, like, many people try to go kill him, but he is invincible. He cannot be killed. Nobody understands why he cannot be killed. Now, the 6 princesses who are back in the palace, they leave and they take the boy with them, Balaraju, the son of Balanagama. They bring him up, and the boy doesn't realize that none of these 6 the 6 princesses is his mother. His mother is elsewhere. So then once he comes of age, he begins to ask, where's my mother, where's my father? And then that's when he comes to hear of the real story. Okay, your father and your mother, they are elsewhere. I mean, they have been captured by this magician and all. Now he gets furious. He says that, okay, I have to destroy this magician. I have to bring back my mother, my father, and my uncles and all that. So he goes searching. It's a long story, but finally what happens is he finds out that this person is in a cave, and in the vicinity of that cave there's one woman who sells these flower garlands. Every day she goes to the cave, and the queen, what she does is she buys these garlands from this woman, and she does the daily puja with those garlands. So the boy Balaraju, what he does is he goes to the woman and says that, okay, I want to help you. I want to help you make these flower garlands. The woman, she doesn't have family, nothing. She doesn't have anybody to take care of her. She says, okay, we'll work together, and so then he works with the woman. He learns how to make these flower garlands and all that, and he helps out with all this. Then eventually he gains entrance into the cave. He tells this the garland woman, why do you want to go to the cave every day and give these flower garlands? I'll do it once in a while. He takes these flower garlands, he goes to the cave, he gives it to the queen, his mother, and then at that time he slowly reveals to his mother that I am your son. And what happens is Sangu, who's been treated as a maid, who's actually helping the magician, the person who was in love with the magician, but the magician scorns her. She overhears them talking, and then but then she is upset with the magician. She realizes that the magician will never marry her, so she pities the queen, and she is not happy with all these events that have happened. She decides to help the boy and the mother. So she realizes that the magician, he is invincible. He cannot be captured. He cannot be killed. Nothing can harm him. But then she decides to help them in some way or the other. What she does is, one day she gets the magician drunk, and then she gets the magician to speak up, and he starts bragging and all that. So then Sangu asks him casually, I have been with you all these years, and then I don't realize how come nobody has been able to harm you in any way. What's your secret? What's up? Like what's going on here? So then the magician, who's all he's drugged, and he's not in his senses and all that, he blurts out, see, there's nothing great about this. There's this particular island across the 7 seas, and there's one caged parrot. I've kept my heart over there. It's guarded by demons. And then he falls asleep. That's it. So then Sangu has learned the secret. She goes and tells Balaraju about this. So then Balaraju, he's a teenager, but he's a brave boy. He's determined to go across these 7 seas and go to this particular island and defeat these demons. He does it all. He eventually goes. It's as I say, it's a long story. He goes to this particular island. He defeats these demons, and then he captures the parrot, opens the cage, and then stabs the parrot. Now the parrot, it falls, and then it comes back to life. The thing is, the parrot has got 2 hearts. So one is the parrot's own heart, and the other is the magician's heart. So the first time when he stabbed the parrot, it was in the heart. It was the magician's heart which got destroyed. So Balaraju realizes, okay, so the magician, at that same moment, the magician drops dead back in the cave. Balaraju comes back and then is reunited with the queen, and all the magic that the magician has done is all undone. So the 7 brothers who were turned into stone, they come back to life, and then there's a happy reunion, and that's the end of the story. This has been made into a comic book as well. This was by Amar Chitra Katha. This was many years ago. Like I came to know of it quite later.
It is also like Harry Potter, Horcruxes.
How you kill Voldemort. There's 7 parts he divides, and then you go to, actually there's a cave. The entire 6th book of Harry Potter is when Harry Potter and Dumbledore go to a cave where they kill a Horcrux. So it's
there are many other Indian folk tales. There's one Tamil folk tale also which is similar about this this evil magician who keeps his heart in a parrot's body and all that. So folk tales across cultures, they are quite similar.
Thank you so much, Nitin. Wonderful story. Awesome. All yours.
Is this right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, thank you so much for having me, Apurv, and thank you, Nitin, for sharing your stories. It is really interesting to hear some stories from southern India and to see the similarities to some of the stories that I grew up with as well. It's particularly interesting to hear the number 7 being used so much. I feel like that's a number that gets used a lot, and and one of my stories will have the number 7 in it too. I'll get to there. For your background, as Apurv mentioned, I'm an Australian, but I grew up in Italy. So I was born in Rome, and my father's Italian. And we moved, my mother's Australian, and we moved to Australia a few times, but settled there aged 12, so I did my schooling in Australia. But when Apurv asked me about this opportunity, I thought it would be good to share, of course, a story that I grew up with from when I lived in Rome, and but also talk to you a little bit about the tradition of Australian mythology or folklore. It's called the Dreamtime, and the Dreamtime is the foundational creation myths of the Aboriginal peoples of Australia, and there's quite a few different, we call them nations, the First Nations of Australia. So there's at least 300 different linguistic groups in Australia, and so this is one of the common stories that is pervasive throughout, and I'll share it with you second. I'll start with my childhood story, which is growing up in Rome. I grew up with the myths of the Roman and Greek myths. That was a big part of my childhood, and I very much enjoyed mythology. And something that I'm really loving being posted in India is getting to know the different mythologies of India, because there's many. And so I was excited to be a part of this. My story is also a creation related story. It's the story of Persephone. She was a goddess in the Roman and Greek traditions, and she was the daughter of Demetrius. And Demetrius is the goddess of the harvest of crops and general fertility of the earth. And one day Persephone, her daughter, was in the fields, and she was spotted by Hades, who is the god of the underworld. And Hades, who never usually comes out, was taken by her and decides to abduct her on his chariot and take her to the underworld and make her his wife. Now, as you can imagine, as any mother would be, Demetrius was distraught by her daughter being missing. And because of her grief, nothing would grow on earth. And there was a big famine all over the world, and people were starving. And of course, Zeus, as the leader of the gods, got involved, and being so powerful, he knew that Hades had taken Persephone, and they went down to get her from the underworld. Unfortunately, while in the underworld, Persephone was offered a pomegranate, a fruit associated with Hades and very common in the underworld, also a delicious fruit. But she took a bite of the pomegranate and swallowed 3 seeds. And then immediately realized that if you eat food from the underworld, then you can never leave. So when her mother came with Zeus to get her, Hades revealed that she had eaten these 3 seeds, and Zeus knew that there was nothing he could do, even if he was powerful, to get her back. But the world was in ruin, and there was nothing that would console Demetrius, of course. And so they came to an agreement finally where she would live in the underworld with her husband Hades half the year, and she would spend half the year with her mother in Mount Olympus. And the reason we have the seasons that we do is because 6 months of the year Demetrius is happy, and that's the start of spring where everything comes back to life. And then when she returns to the underworld, she that's when the leaves start to fall and the trees go bare, and that represents the time that she is in the underworld. So that's one of my favorite childhood stories, and I like how it's kind of a way, as you say, to explain the world. But I thought it would be remiss of me as an Australian diplomat to not talk about the traditions of Australia. And while I'm not a First Nations person, I'm very happy to talk to you a little bit about their traditions today, because I think it's beautiful. And when I moved to Australia, it's quite inspiring to see how much effort there is into including these stories into the Australian curriculum and speaking about them, and children learn about them in their high school and primary school. This one I'll have to do a bit of reading because I'm not as familiar with it, but it's the story of the 7 sisters. So again, a reference to the number 7. And it's a significant creation story for particularly the desert people. So as I said, there's multiple First Nations of Australia, and of course some cohabitate the coastal parts of Australia, and some are more related to the desert. And so while there is a lot of links, there's also a lot of differences with the different people. And this is common, but I'm going to tell you the threads that are similar throughout all the versions of the story, and it's a story of forbidden pursuit. So I thought it was a nice link to my story as well, and this is one of daring escape and family bonds. So you can see there's a few connections there, even to the Roman Greek story. So the 7 sisters, they're ancestral beings, sky people who descended to Earth, and they were pursued by men who had never seen women before. I'm seeing links to your stories as well, Nitin. The sisters escaped using digging sticks, but they encountered a sorcerer named Yurlu, who desired one of them as a wife. But such a union was forbidden by traditional law due to different they're called skin groups, so people who come from different tribes. Yurlu pursued the sisters across the land, and using shape-shifting and tricks, he captured one of the sisters. While they did manage to escape, they were chased continuously in the form of a snake by Yurlu, who mistook the snake for food, and while they threw it away when they realized the danger, they continued to escape from him across the lands of Australia, and and they turned into the features of the Australian landscape, the mountains, the watering holes, the springs, and then eventually took refuge into the sky as the Pleiades. There's a formation of 7 stars in the sky. Now, it's interesting because in Roman Greek mythology, Orion, the warrior, is right next to the Pleiades, who he chases as well. That's in the Roman tradition. So again, it's so interesting that different cultures from different parts of the world can come up with such similar stories, and both the ones that I've grown up with, but also hearing from you, Nitin, and as someone who is here in India, it's been remarkable to see the similarities. And yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you so much, Orson. These are such wonderful stories. Like I said, this is not a formal session, this is a fact-based chat. Please feel free to chip in if you have stories along similar themes, if there's something that struck your sort of thought process as you were hearing these stories. Would love to hear stories, thoughts, comments from any of you. Please. Yeah, sure.
I have a story to share. I think I'm loud enough.
Yeah.
Right. So this is like, the story came to me at a time when I sort of needed the story as well. I was in US, I was fighting a lot of legal battles on different sides, and it was the time of COVID, no family, no friends, and so I called up someone I consult in India, and he gives me the story. So 2 little birds, and they were around the sea, and the sea washes over the little chicks that they had. So they were very upset, as parents, they were very upset, and they're so angry that they start filling up the water in their tiny beaks, and they want to empty the entire seas now, they're just ready to fight the ocean. When they see this kind of effort, some of the birds flying from the same bird community up there, they're like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, the sea has taken away our kids, right? We need to protect them, we need to get them out somehow. And they're like, no, this cannot happen, right? This is such a difficult task to be, like, you are just tiny little birds, how can you do it? So they're like, okay, either you help us or you go. Like, we don't need any other inputs at this point. So out of this empathy, out of this connect that they had, they join in. Then some big birds see these tiny birds trying to empty the sea, and they're like, what in the world are you doing? Like, this doesn't, you'll take many lifetimes over to do this. So they're like, you're stronger than us, you join us, you help us, right? Or you go. So these bigger birds also join in. Same process repeats, episode after episode, and eventually Garuda, the Vahan of Lord Vishnu, sees them. And they're like, what is happening? Why are all the birds, like, they're not in the sky, they're at the sea, what's wrong? And that's when Garuda goes, and when Garuda goes, Vishnu is missing him, the Lord, so when Lord Vishnu comes in, and then the ocean has to give way, much like the Rama story. But the whole message being that, like, no matter how small you are, people in the world are going to tell you it's not possible. But when you have a strong will and you have a purpose, you start we call it the universe supports us. In this story, Lord Vishnu comes himself, right? So just don't lose the focus. So keep your battles going, things will come to you when you need them. And this whole message through these metaphors of tiny bird and the vast ocean. That feeling of being lost, the feeling of grappling in the dark, the feeling of we don't not knowing how big the battle may be. So all these themes are very well blended into the story, and to be inspired and things work out.
Wonderful. We have so many participants from Coorg. Maybe any stories that you remember, anything you want to share?
Grandparents'
I
tales.
was talking about River Kaveri, because she is. This is a story of goddess Kaveri, and how she became a river, and how because of her we Coorgs wear a Coorg sari in a very different way.
Okay.
We have the pleats at the back. So the story goes that the Vindhyas was growing at a very fast pace. And this troubled the gods because obviously with the mountains growing at such a fast pace, there are earthquakes and all that. So what they do is they go to sage Agastya and ask him for his help. So sage Agastya, who's from the north of India, goes to the Vindhyas and tells the Vindhyas that stop growing till I come back. I'm going down south. So he comes down south, and when he comes down to Coorg, he sees goddess Kaveri, who's the daughter of the Rishi Kaver, and he falls in love with her. So he wants to marry her. But Kaveri does not want to get married because she has chosen social work as her path. She says, I have to do service for the humanity. But Agastya is hell-bent on marrying her. So he tries to convince her, and she tells him, there are two versions to the story. The first version goes, she says that if you look at another woman, I will flow away as a river. The other version goes that if you question me, I'm going to flow away as a river. Like if you're suspicious of me or question me on anything, I'm going to flow away as a river. So the first version goes that Agastya, when he goes out sometime, he looks at Sujoti and Kanika, who are also small rivulets or whatever. So when Kaveri gets to know about this, she gets upset and she flows away as a river. That's the first version. And the second version is she goes out to meditate in the night, and Agastya asks her where she went, and she gets irritated with his question, and she flows away as a river. When she flows away as a river, Agastya, the sage, comes and confines her in a kamandala. So Lord Shiva gets worried. He says that the path that she has to take is of serving the humanity. So he sends Lord Ganpati, who turns himself into a crow, and he comes and he pushes the kamandala down, and she flows away as a river. And because she is worried about being found, she goes underground, and so she's called as Guptagamini. And when she flows away with so much of anger, the people of Coorg come and stop her and say, please don't leave, because we are going to be bereft of you. So with the force of her waves, she turns the sari around, because of which the Coorg women wear the pleats are at the back.
Oh.
And then she says, Agastya gets upset with the fact that the Coorgs have stopped her, and obviously the Coorgs are supporting River Kaveri. So he curses the Coorgs, saying that you're going to vanish. But River Kaveri, goddess Kaveri for us, she says, you will not vanish till I take birth in Coorg. So every October 17th, River Kaveri comes out in a small kind of a tank, and we call it the Tirthodbhava. So that is a very, very auspicious time for us Kodvas, and we celebrate it as Kaveri Shankramana.
Wonderful. That's such a lovely story.
That's another story in this.
Oh, that's there in the book. Anand, how are we doing on time?
It's 6:50 almost. Right
Okay,
now,
so should we close the formal session, then those who want to can stay,
Sure.
and then others can use?
I think that's good.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. We usually do these as 1 hour sessions, but as you can imagine, we usually spill over because these are such fascinating stories from such different people who have such different life experiences. But I know we promised you a 1 hour storytelling session. We're already 1 hour 15 minutes. So what we'll do is we have some formalities, some gifts of appreciation for our storytellers, and then once we do that, we can stay, and those who have stories to share, we can also spend some more time together. But may I request Sopan sir to please present a small token of our appreciation to first Nitin and then to Orson.
Thank you. I hope you publish many more volumes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Orson.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, India Foundation, for having us, and thank you to the audience for their patience.
No, we're all passionate about the topic. Any other comments, thoughts, stories? Yes, sir.
I have just one question. It's just something that Mr. Passi came up with. Passi is an interesting surname because in Punjab we have this surname apart from Australia and also in Italy. But made a comment on the number 7. That set me thinking. I do not know if anyone here can throw light on this number 7. Because in Coorg, also we have another very famous temple apart from Kaveri. It is called Igutappa temple. Igutappa, another name for Palani. Now there is a story about 7 siblings who came from the heavens and they landed in Kerala. And apparently they wanted to know where they would come and settle. And they fired 7 arrows, and 3 of them have fallen in Coorg and 4 in Kerala. So each one of them settled where the arrow had fallen. So this is a story of how heavenly beings came and settled down on earth. Kerala, of course, is known as God's own country. But the point that I wanted to make, and what I wanted all of you to sort of throw a little bit of light, why this number 7? 7 siblings, Snow White and 7 dwarfs, 7 wonders of the world. What is the significance of 7?
As you can, I can tell
Can
you.
somebody throw some light on
I come
this?
from the world of Harry Potter. I'm a Potter nut. So there is this question that Harry Potter asks Dumbledore, why did Voldemort have 7 Horcruxes? And he says that 7 is magically the most powerful number. And that's why he chose 7. But that's like, that's just coming from a Potter nut.
I'll try to attempt this question. Like, we have 7 days of the week. And 7, it's like, it's something that's religious. It's across religions, like whether it's, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, or any other religion.
But generally, prime numbers are considered to have magical, mystical
Yes.
properties since the dawn of civilization. Even
So, even the odd numbers,
and
1,
others.
3, 5, 7, they are supposed to be magic numbers. So,
Yeah, I think just adding on to what Nitin already said, the 7 days actually emanate from the 7 planets. And
Yes.
since all the entire structure of the life as we know it is around, those planets influencing Earthlings rather, and those eventually emanate into the days, and day is the way around which the entire calendar gets.
so that's actually the answer. The 7 planets, like the 7 planets which the sun, the moon were considered planets, and then the other 5 planets which were visible to the human eye. So then we have the 5 planets and then the sun, moon. So those add up to 7. So then the Babylonians were among the earliest to come up with these gods and goddesses. 7. They also had 6 gods and 1 goddess after these planets. So then these weekdays came about, and then finally they spread out to different religions. So yeah, that's the actual answer.
Actually, there are 7 oceans as well as 7 rivers. So these are also very familiar. 7 rivers and 7 oceans.
Across cultures, we see 7
There's
as a
7 rivers, 7 continents,
Yeah,
7 oceans, 7 seas. So yeah.
And in gambling, in games of dice, it's always lucky 7.
Yes, correct. Lucky 7. 7 up, 7 down, absolutely.
So that's what they say for
7 chakras.
anything like there's this meme going around amongst those cricketers, no, that like Dhoni's shirt number is 7, which is why like Thala for a reason they made it.
Ah, okay.
So that is also they're like, oh no, it's 7, that's why like everything is working out.
Quite possible.
In Jyotish, number 7 is connected to Ketu, which is actually the real arbiter of the salvation, like beyond life. Part. So like I think that's also where the borderline
Some mystical
of what we
properties.
know, the liminal and the subliminal world gets sort of connected.
Fascinating.
I mean, it's very interesting because even in our Hindu religion, we talk about Sat Janam.
You take 7 steps around the Sat Fere.
Yeah, the
Sat
ceremony,
Fere.
Wedding ceremonies have
7
7 steps.
So that's the reason I suddenly thought, I mean, when Mr. Passi mentioned, I thought it was something very interesting and somebody could throw some light on this. So anyway,
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this is. Should we call it a day? Ma'am, do you have?
I
Sure,
just
ma'am.
wanted to mention one point of reference which I was, I think I can heard from every corner of this room. What Nitin just said, the first story that Nitin described about the Moina. I mean, all of you know about Satyajit Ray, the famous filmmaker.
Yes.
So they were from remote part of Bangladesh originally. So his grandfather actually wrote a collection of stories, Bengali stories. Some had their roots as folklores of that region of Bangladesh, and some he did on his own. And one such story was exactly this one. I mean, it's just so similar. Of course, it was not a moina, it was some other bird. And it was not the same like someone's home or something, but the same sequence, like you go to someone, you ask him to do something to the next one, and they were all animals, of course, just like his story. So I was thinking how, I mean, these are like thousands of kilometers apart. Their place is called Masuri Gram in Bangladesh. And yours is from Coorg.
Yes,
so
it's a village called Nelji.
It's
It's from a village called Nelji in Coorg.
Okay, it's around Masuri Gram in Bangladesh, so it's so similar.
But there are other common things. For example, a spouse telling their partner that don't question me, otherwise bad things will happen. Again, there are so many stories around this. Even the Bhishma Pitama's birth, Ganga tells.
Which I can. I am a Bengali. In Bengal, we have a folklore tradition. It's not just folklore, these are fairy tales. These are called, there was one gentleman called Lakshminarayan Mitra Majumdar who actually collected all those stories and made it in a book form. It's called Thakurma Jhuli and Thakurda Jhuli. Thakurma means grandmom and Thakurda is granddad. So, and Jhuli is like bag. So it's a collection of fairy tales by your grandmom, by your granddad. So there were some stories which are so similar to the second story that Nitin said.
Even the other second story about artificial births, parthenogenesis is what they call it. It's so common. You see the birth of Lord Ram, Lakshman, Bharat Shatrughan. You see the birth of you see the birth of Kauravs. Greek mythology, Athena's birth. She comes out of Zeus's head. So this idea of artificial births also is such a recurring theme across civilization.
Usually it's considered that great men who are actually mythological figures, they cannot actually be born out of your mother's womb. Even if you think of Macbeth, there was some other story like that. I mean, he was not born of his out of his mother's womb.
In Christianity,
you know, so some extra, some mythical touch, something mystic to be added into your birth story, so that it's proven that you are not a regular human being. You have something extra power, some prowess which God has gifted you with to maybe save mankind or something like that. Yeah, so
a lot of messiahs and sort of their stories are.
Nitinji, both of your stories were so you know, I could relate it to them as Bengali.
Thank you. Like as I told you, there are many Cinderella stories and many Snow White stories. This the index that I was speaking about. So they had done this job, and
you must do a post for Chintan. You must just write a short 800-word blog. We have a blog at India Foundation Chintan. Just maybe just on this recurring themes across, that'd be great. If you could just
I'll be honored.
That'd be very nice. We can maybe publish it on our platform also, the India Foundation platform.
Okay, sure. I'll do that.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sure.
I just quickly wanted to add on to our curiosity of the similarities, you know, even with both their stories and the others, and that we have this theory, two theories, right, in comparative mythology, that the reason for similarities is one, the polygenesis theory, that minds have unity. So there's unity of minds across whatever our religion, our nationality. And the other is the monogenesis, that from one place it traveled all over. So all of us like the monogenesis. Often, yeah, it started in my place, but the other theory is equally valid, that all minds eventually think alike. Yeah. And this was a very beautiful example that brought it out. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we give ourselves a round of applause? So like I said, we do this every month. Again, as you notice, it's very informal. It's almost like a conversation amongst well-wishers and fellow travelers. So whenever we do this next, we'll keep you posted. Ananya will share the details with you. Please join the WhatsApp group that we have for Katha. That's where we do all the updates for such sessions. And if you have some interesting stories, any thoughts, please feel free to share on the group. Once again, thank you for your time. Have a great evening ahead. Bye.